She's the head of the newly powerful Tea Party caucus in the House of Representatives, and that means many Americans will look to her for leadership on limited government issues ranging from intrusive airport security to the attempts to shut down the whistleblower website Wikileaks. Minnesota Republican Representative Michelle Bachmann joins us now. Congresswoman Bachmann, it's a pleasure. Welcome back to Freedom Watch.
Always a pleasure, Judge.
Do we surrender our rights to our bodily integrity, our Fourth Amendment rights to privacy, merely when we purchase an airline ticket?
No, we shouldn't. Absolutely not. That's why I refuse to go through the body scanner when I'm going through the airports. I go through twice a week, and I instead subject myself to the pat-down in front of all the other passengers. And I think what we're seeing, again, is an extraordinary leap on the part of the federal government, and it seems to happen week by week. We're reactive as opposed to being proactive and trying to keep our people safe.
Do you think that there might be more at stake here? Do you think that the federal government, by injecting its uniformed agents at the critical juncture between a private industry, the airlines, and its customers at the airport, is trying to suggest that it can insinuate its agents, its people, and its regulations at almost any critical private juncture, that this might be just the tip of an iceberg, all in the name of safety?
Sure. As a matter of fact, over the weekend, we saw calls that the federal government may do the same for buses, trains, for when we go to large sporting events. This will change all of our behavior across the United States, and we really need to look at the federal government's job is to keep the American people safe. No one disputes that, but now we're going a step too far, it seems, and people are considered guilty rather than being considered innocent.
All right, you just said it's the federal government's job to keep America safe. Would you permit me to modify that, and would you accept my modification? The federal government's job is to keep us free. And if it keeps us safe but unfree, it's not doing its job. Agree?
I think that's a fair representation, and I hope that hopefully you will come to Congress. We're starting classes once a week on the Constitution for the members of Congress. Hopefully you'll be one of those people to come and share that with our members, hopefully soon.
You know I'll be happy to do that. You've invited me before, I've accepted before, and I accept again. I do want to switch gears now to Wikileaks. You've been a staunch defender of the Constitution. You've been a defender of commercial liberties and civil liberties. If the government is doing something wrong, if the government is committing criminal activity or lying in our name, don't we have a right to know that?
Of course.
Then is it a good thing that WikiLeaks released the last batch of documents, the ones that embarrassed the State Department, that showed us that the Saudis are financing al-Qaeda, that showed us that we're killing people in Yemen and blaming it on the Yemen people?
Well, there's nothing wrong with embarrassing a government with information, but it's another thing when we're compromising the integrity and safety of the American people. That's what the concern is now, and what we're looking at is the Espionage Act of 1917. A lot has changed since 1917. I think it's important that we take an updated look at what people can and can't do. We don't want to get our soldiers killed, for instance, based upon information that's being leaked out, and it is not okay to have an organization hack into Pentagon files and put that information out to the public when it's considered top secret.
All right, but you're a student of the Constitution. You have an advanced legal degree in the Constitution. You certainly know the manner in which the Supreme Court has interpreted it, particularly the Pentagon Papers case. The thief who steals the document can and should be prosecuted, but the publisher to whom the thief gives the document cannot be prosecuted under the First Amendment. Agree or disagree?
Well, that's the current interpretation.
And you want to change that law, or you want that to be the law?
Well, I think the person who does the stealing needs to be the person who is held responsible. We don't want to give inducements to people for further theft of top secrets in the United States government.
Suppose the information that is published reveals that the Federal Reserve has been printing money that we don't know about and giving it to its favorite banks, or that the CIA is conducting some illegal war somewhere in the world that we don't even know about. Don't the American people have the right to know that, no matter how they acquired the information?
Well, those are complicated questions. They really are. They're not easy to deal with. And I think that it's important that the government is held accountable. But on the other hand, we're living in a completely different day and age with computer hacking. And we just have to strike a reasonable balancing test. I'm not worried about seeing the federal government embarrassed by information that comes out. And I think it is good. We need to hold our government accountable. But we're in a whole new twilight zone, if you will, with being able to hack into government secrets. And I just want to make sure that this won't be to the detriment to the United States to the people of the United States.
Last question. Doesn't the government bear some blame here? I mean, the government is blaming this on a buck private. How could a buck private get access to millions of pages of highly classified material without the government looking the other way?
That's what we have to find out. It may not just be him. There may be other people as well. But again, we aren't talking about old file cabinets now anymore. Now we're talking about computer databases that people from around the world can access. Obviously, our firewalls aren't sufficient. We need to make them sufficient because every country, frankly, has secrets, and they need to be kept. And if our firewall is now being breached, we need to make it unbreachable.
Congresswoman Bachmann, it's a pleasure. Let me know when we start those classes because I want to be a professor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.